It's been a pleasure. I didn't get to read everything, man, but like I said on Twitter the other day, I rated the Mad Cave Hub, and dude, well, of course we'll talk about this later, but I had no idea that Knights of the Golden Sun was like about Christianity and stuff like that. I just thought it was like another fantasy kind of comic.
Hmm.
When I dove into
Hmm.
that, I was like, oh man, this is so cool. And yeah, Hunt Kill Repeats fucking phenomenal. Oh my god. So
Thank you, Blake.
so good. But yeah, so basically, uh, I keep things pretty loose here. You know, we're gonna hype up your comics, but you know, like feel free to talk about whatever. You
Hmm.
know, it's not a kid show. I have a filthy mouth, so you know, it's say whatever you want to
I love
say.
it.
And
Cool.
but
Hmm.
yeah, I'll do a quick little intro,
Hmm.
and then we'll just kind of hit the ground running. Um,
All right.
let's see. All right. Buzz, babies, and welcome back to another episode of Blake's Buzz. And this week, I've got a Mad Cave superstar, or can we call him the superstar? Because he's like the whole ass boss of the company. I don't know. Mark London is in the house. Have you guys heard of him? He's written Wolvenheart. He's written Battle Cats, Knights of the Golden Sun. He has all these crazy, awesome titles from Mad Cave, but we're here to talk about a new one that's very special tonight. It's called Hunt Kill Repeat. It's going to be coming on the shelves soon in March, and you're just a damn silly person if you don't have this pre-ordered. And for the next little while, we're going to talk about all the reasons why you need this new comic and all those older comics actually in your life. Mark, how you doing tonight, sir?
Good, good, Blake. And after that introduction, I mean, I couldn't be better.
I like to start things off strong, right? So when it peters out later, you know, I still got you feeling good.
I love it. Yes.
So I knew, you know, did you become the leader of Mad Cave just so that they would have to publish your comics? Because I mean, I feel like that's one strategy, right? But they're all really good. So I mean, I feel like you didn't necessarily need the leadership role to get published, but that's one way to make it in the industry, I
Hmm.
guess, right?
Yeah, I mean, I do get not a lot because again, a lot of folks don't know exactly how Mad Cave got started. But the thing is that Mad Cave really it's sort of an accident because what I wanted to do with my books, with my stories, it was just a passion project. It was a passion project. I wanted to start like a fan page, um, get some artists that could collaborate on the scripts, the comics, throw in a few pages here and there. But then as we started progressing and everything started taking shape, it kind of turned into a healthy publisher. Of course, with all its caveats and all these difficulties, but I think that we had something that when we engaged with the fans and when we started giving them um, some taste of what we were all about, they stacked. The response was really really favorable. So it just kept growing from there, and then it was like, oh my god! So there are certain folks that have actually given us a shot, and that's why also we started the talent search, which was discovering people from the not the industry, but people that had never been published that
Mhm.
actually had either the writing chops or the artistic chops to publish a comic book. And that's what we did, and it kind of like kept on snowballing from there. And I'm very humbled and I'm very grateful of what we have accomplished.
Yeah, you guys have accomplished a ton, and you have great books, and everybody I've talked to is like loves working with you guys, right? Like David Hazan and I hit it off pretty well, and we've had a couple interviews, but we talk a lot sometimes too. And like he's so happy, and he's
Hmm.
got his new book coming out from you guys too, and
Hmm.
now the Nottingham anthology spinoff is out. Friend of the show, Jared Luhan,
Hmm.
won the competition and did dry foot with you
Of
guys,
course.
and you know, all these, so many people have just nothing but great things to say about you. And in the tumultuous realm of indie comic publishing right now, that says a lot, man. Like it's scary times out there for boutique publishers and creators, and it's very cool that you guys are able to keep your head above water, to keep you know, steadily pumping out the goods. What sets you apart from, you know, I don't want to like throw other publishers under the bus, but like, what do you guys, what do you think you guys are doing differently to combat this new age of publishing? Because like I'm like even Boom is on Kickstarter now, doing their hardcover releases before they come out. You know, more and more of these publishers are going to Kickstarter for various reasons. You know, it was a bummer. One of my favorite publishers, Aftershock, is in some trouble. You know, like and we're seeing, you know, some of this news continues to roll out, but you guys are staying ahead of the game. You're running a tight ship, and you seem to be progressing along like everything's normal. So like what's your secret, I guess, or if you're allowed to reveal it? Maybe it's like the KFC recipe. You can't tell us everything.
No, I think that something, again, I think it's part of the accident, because really a lot of folks that joined me since the beginning, they don't come from the comic book industry. They come from the business world. So this is the way that I like to associate myself with like-minded folks that actually like to treat others as you would like to be treated. I mean, it's just as simple as that, Blake. So the way that we do business is we go into a contract, we establish the rules early on, and what you see is what you get. And we love what we're doing. We love creating worlds, coming up with awesome stories that people are really, really going to enjoy. And really, I know that we are grateful that they have this hard-earned cash and they're giving it to us, supporting us. So we can't expect to give them nothing less but the absolute best. And also the way that, thank you for those nice comments about Jared and David, 2 talent search winners. I think that, again, it's just, we treat everybody with respect. And I think that we are a creators first company besides anything else. So I think that it's as simple as that. Not a crazy recipe. And my philosophy is just that you do right by other people, by yourself, and the rest will take care of itself. So call me naive, but again, I like to spread positivity, and that's everything that Mad Cave is all about.
That's awesome. No, I don't think that's naive at all. I think it's inspiring. You know, I am very I come from that same you know, kind of genre. Like I work really hard to be a positive influence on the internet. I think it's really easy, and you can get a lot of extra clicks and views to, like, you know, to put people down, or to put a product down, or to, you know, have some kind of nasty hot takes and stuff like that. And that's not the brand that I want to put out there. And it has been, I've seen other people like succeed at being a little nasty, at you know, putting out that kind of edgy discourse, right? And that's just not what I want to be. But I think that, like, my audience may be growing slower than I want it to, but I also think it's more loyal. Like, people really like me. They like my brand. If I recommend a comic, people read it. They trust me, right? You know, I'm not just like accumulating a ton of followers and subscribers just because they think I'm kind of like a prick, but in a funny way, right? And so I like that. I like that idea of applying that to business practices, because I think, you know, like I said, especially today, right now, man, it's such a bummer to see a lot of these to see these elements working against publishing houses, right? And it's kind of scary. And I know it's scary for, you know, owners of these boutique publishers, but, you know, also creatives. You know, it's like, I got these books that I want to come out, and then sometimes they get put in limbo, and sometimes they don't come out at all. And then, as we've seen over the last couple of years, of like people trying to like wrestle with people to get the rights back to their books, to, you know, and it's just crazy. That's one of the weird things about doing what I do now, is I see a lot more of the comic book industry than I ever did before, which I like, right? It's cool. And I'm getting to know this world a lot better. But yeah, just it's a worrisome time right now. And I'm really glad that you guys are staying ahead of that trouble. Like that's good. That's good to know. Cause I think you guys do, you put out really great products. You got a great eye for creatives, art, and storytellers. I really like what you guys do. I also like how you treat press. Like you guys have always been very kind to me. Your marketing team helped me put on a Nottingham live stream, and you
Mm-hmm.
know, like, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, your marketing guys even made like promo art for me, which was like absolutely, like, when I got that email and they were like, "Hey, we made," I was like, "What? You guys just, I like, that's crazy." So you're very kind to press, and you're very organized, like the whole Mad Cave Hub deal. I know listeners may have heard me mention that. Like, a lot of publishers, they'll send out weekly emails, right? Like press releases with
Yes.
the PDFs to get like review copies and stuff. And they send those out to reviewers. And what you guys do is you add people to your list and give them a password, and you actually log into this very nice and clean website that is very organized, very easy to like have all the comics from past, present, and future just there,
Mm-hmm.
ready for reviewers. And like, I love that, man. I wish more people would steal your idea, kind of, because I think it works really well.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so anyways, I just love everything about Mad Cave, and
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of irritating to me that like you're both in charge of that and writing really great comics like at the same time. Like, what are you? Like, you're like this magical entity in the comic book world.
No,
uh
I think that, thank you so much for the high praise, Blake. And again, yes, shout out to Alison Marie Pond. She's our marketing director, and Maja V. They're just amazing. And we treat you guys, I mean, with the utmost respect also, because again, you're the guys that help us just to put the word out, as an indie publisher, as a boutique, as you call smaller guys. Of course, we need all the help that we can get, so we're super thankful that you guys, I mean, take a chance on us and have us on your show. So again, we're always going to go the extra mile, also with trying to make your lives easier. Like, okay, I haven't heard of Matt K before, so where can I check your books? Hey, we have a hub. Everything's laid out to you. Check out, read the synopsis, see something that you like, and then you pick up from there, and then you go and maybe support us eventually with other titles, where you might see a creative team that actually like you really like, and then you see another book coming out from them with Matt Cave, or from another publisher, and then they also grow as professionals. So again, thank you so much. And coming back to your question is well, the thing is that I think that I have the best comic book team in the entire industry. I mean, everybody helps me so much, and in terms of running and healthy publisher, although it's madness sometimes, and we have our little issues. But again, every job has it and has them, so it's natural. But I think that again, everybody's so professional, and I get so much help that I'm able to just switch hats and be like, okay, let's run the company. That's my role for this week, and then maybe next week I'm just gonna try to invest myself and try to come up with the best possible writing that I can, because I'm passionate about an idea or a series. So that's also the secret right there.
yeah,
Surround
that's what
yourself with the best.
I yeah, I mean, yeah, when you work with great people, and yeah, it totally changes, it changes your mentality. When work doesn't always feel like work, even though it, of course, you're with deadlines and stuff, things get stressful. But I like that you mentioned that balance, because I was curious about that with you. Like, I have no idea what it would be like to be the CEO of anything. Right. I'm unemployed right now. So like, I definitely have no idea what it would be like to be the CEO of anything, but to have like that on your shoulders while simultaneously coming up with new series and creating those new series and writing, keeping up with your own deadlines.
Mhm.
I mean, obviously this is going to be different for like everybody, but like, how do you stay organized, and how do you keep from burnout?
Great question. Something that I try to tell the team always is that, again, we work from 9 to 6. We don't work on weekends. I mean, I don't like people just putting overtime. Um, Weekends are for family, extra time. I mean, nights, evenings are for your
Nice.
family, loved ones, whatever you like to do. Again, if you need to just invest a lot more of your time to the company, because that's really something that you're passionate about, that's something that you really want to do, fine. It's up to you. But again, I think that you do need a healthy balance in life. So because things don't happen. You burn out, you get stressed. The company also has a very, very accommodating policy with its PTOs. So, I mean, if you need a personal day to yourself, I mean, by all means, everybody's a professional, because I don't think that Mad Cave or my policy has always been to never micromanage anything, Blake. It's just like, I can't be a babysitter. So everybody, especially in this industry, and because you are really a production chain of things, everybody's working in tandem to produce the best result. If something lacks in that chain of events, it's going to stick out like a sore thumb. So a lot of people that we have on the team, they know this. So they're professionals, and they don't like to be told what to do. Never, because again, it's just how professional they are. So nice. That's something that I really like. And again, if somebody has, again, not only the way that we treat people, because I think that the most important asset or the most important commodity a company, no matter what it is, it's its people. So if you don't take care of your people, and you're not, again, surrounding yourself with the best people, that's exactly what you're going to produce. You're going to produce mediocre results, and that's not what we're all about. Sure, we're still growing, we're still learning. We don't know everything, but I like to focus on the progress that we have made since we started this small publisher 8 years ago.
8 years, wow, that's cool, man.
8 years, yeah.
How? Not every, I know Image does it. Image and Skybound do it every now and then. They do those like writing competitions to find new talent, but that's not that's not like a universal thing. It actually is more with like prose and poetry, and like the short story world, which is like where I used to, I was in grad school, I was writing prose, I was writing creative nonfiction essays and stuff, and trying to do like the publishing racket and all the limitless writing contests, right? There's so many that you can enter and try and be a part of. But it's still not as prevalent in the sequential graphic narrative world. Like some people do it, but not many. And you guys, it feels like you guys have had pretty good luck with it. Cause like, I mean, look at what Jared Hunt is turning into now, like he got invited to the DC Milestone Initiative, and he's got a lot of stuff going on, and his first break really was after winning the competition was Dryfoot from you guys, and then looking at like David Hazan, and like he's blowing up, everybody loves him. He's got he always tells me all this stuff that I can't talk about, but he's got like 5 different projects from 3 different publishers. He's got all that going on. And Nottingham, I feel like has done pretty well for you guys. I remember like when people were fighting in the streets because they couldn't get those issues, man. Like there was like small riots of like, it was very much like the proletariat versus the royalty that happens in the narrative, but it was happening like inside of comic book shops, and like people were putting the books on eBay for astronomical prices, and then you guys tried to do the extra printings, and again, like I kind of laugh because I pre-ordered them all, right? I told the shop to pre-order them, and when you tell them to do that, all of a sudden you're not having to scramble for these copies, right? Even the extra prints, like I told them, I was like, hey, I want every print that they do, like get it for me. And they did. And I didn't have to fight for it. And it was just in my pull list. The only one I lucked out with is because I didn't pre-order Nottingham #1. Because it slipped by my radar. I'm not a perfect individual. I make mistakes. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you knew that, but I make mistakes sometimes.
It happens to the best of us. Exactly. You're okay, Blake.
But I won a contest from you guys. You guys sent me the the first issue, and I got a poster as well. And so I ended up not having to pay the eBay tax for number one, and then I loved it so much, like I pre-ordered all the extra issues. So yeah, I just remember like just the internet was so angry and scrambling, and all these people are just like, pre-order the damn comic. Just it's an easy fix, ladies and gentlemen. But still, you know, some people are weird about that. They just want to go to the shop and find what they want sometimes. But yeah, anyway, so again, like I feel like that was a great success. And then the trades did well, or are doing well. People are still picking those up. And then you guys did that cool hardcover special volume on hardcover.
Yes.
And you also did some cool, like some convention variants, I remember. And so just like you have like a really good property there and a great team. Like all those guys I love to death. They're so talented and fun to talk to. But yeah, so that's the kind of quality you're putting out across the board, not with Nottingham. You know, one of my favorite books from you guys is, I swear we'll get to your comics soon, Mark, I promise.
Don't worry about it. I just love, again, I love that the publisher is like, and thank you for that also, Blake. But again, I care about the publisher. I do care about Mad Cave. It happens that I write some of its books, and sometimes I launch a series here and there, and I promote my own stuff. But again, it all comes down to what Mad Cave is doing. So again, I love to talk about Mad Cave. So please continue.
But yeah, one of my favorite books from you guys is Stargazer, and I actually got to. Anthony was just on the show a couple weeks ago.
I saw that.
We had a blast talking, and he I guess I almost made him cry after he was like, dude, you almost got me a couple times talking about Stargazer, and I was like, dude, I love aliens and UFOs, and like there was just so like the brother sister, you know, my sister and I are really tight, and so it's just like there were so many things that just kind of like spoke to me. And again, the quality of the stuff that you guys are putting out. One thing I won't lie is for a long time I've seen people talk about Battle Cats, right? And I was like, okay, like the art's cool, you know, like I get it. And it just never felt like it was for me. And I'm so glad that we set this interview up, because I finally read a couple volumes of it, right? And it fucking blew me away, man. I was like, wow, was I wrong? Like I was like, yes, all the cats, all fight all the time, like swords, magic, let's fucking go. I had so much fun with that. And just like, I read that volume 1 so fast, just like didn't stop from like, you know, one to the 5th issue, I think the 5th or 6th issue, however many were in that trade. But it was so good. And then I was kind of surprised that you are redoing volume 1 right now. You're like with new art, tighter, you know, tighter dialogue a little bit. Nothing like plot beat wise is changing really. You're just kind of it's more streamlined, I guess. I've never seen that really happen before. Like what made you want to go back and like your 3, or I guess your 4 volumes, there's 3 volumes and there's the like side story volume, right? So you're 4 volumes into this series and you decide to go back and kind of revamp the intro. Like what was your thought process in that?
Well, the artist from 1 through 4 in the first volume, which is actually 5 issues, is different. So Mike Camello, which is a regular artist on Battle Cats, and I love that kid to death because I think that he does such a fantastic job, was not the artist on 1 through 4. So because he has been with us also since the beginning, and he has really, really invested a lot of time, heart and soul in drawing the most spectacular cats beating the crap out of each other for years now. We sat down with the editorial team and we were like, hey, you know what? Why don't we give Mikey a shot? And we basically just have the whole thing in his style. So that's really that was the main reason why we decided to revamp. But also, you're right, tighter dialogue, a little here and there. Again, remember that Battle Cats was probably what's launched Mad Cave Studios. When we used to go to conventions, people had no idea what Mad Cave was, but we were the Battle Cats guys. So a lot of people were like, oh, Battle Cats, okay, good. No, but we're from Mad Cave. What? No. Oh, Battle Cats. Okay, Battle Cats. So it was a comic, not a publisher. So and also the first volume because we launched it so long ago, and then with all the mistakes and everything that could have been better at the time. I still feel pretty damn happy how that series started and everything. Sure, we've learned a few more tricks after doing this after in all those years, but we felt that we can give Mikey a shot because eventually what we're going to do with those 3 volumes is we're going to collect them in an absolute standard pristine edition.
Nice.
So people can actually like enjoy the whole series that it should. And we wanted to have, again, the exact same creative team all across the board. So that's part of the reason why we decided to just redo those first 4 issues, Blake.
Man, talk about giving the artist credit. Like, you know, there's so much of that discourse of like writer versus artist and like, you know, who's running the show and who's not. And you totally like redid a whole first volume of your baby to like give your main artist like a shot at the whole ordeal. Like that's so cool, man. Because I was wondering, because it's not, I say the language is tighter and it's structured a little better, but I mean, like, you got to be nitpicky about it, right? Because that first volume was good. It really did. Like it sold me. It was a blast. I loved the characters. I loved the magic. I thought it was a beautiful book. The colors and art were great. Action looked great. The whole deal about the second king and the monster in the cave, and like, oh my god, it's like I was like, wow, this is, again, I couldn't believe how much like I was like, I can't believe I put this off for so long thinking it wasn't, you know, for me, and it ended up like just, it really sang to me. But yeah, I do like this. I've read the 3 new issues of, and it is working, and the art's good. It looks very pretty. But yeah, like, that makes sense too. But I was like, the whole time I was just kind of wondering. I was like, man, like, it's not like it was a bad comic, you know? And I was like, I was wondering why you'd want to like go through that and redo it, but that's cool. Like, and that's exciting that now if you put together a compendium or omnibus, like, I know you guys don't do a lot of hardcovers. Like, would that be a hardcover or would you keep it the soft cover?
That would, yes. Great question, Blake. No, that would absolutely be a hardcover, and it would be like absolute pristine edition, oversized. And you're basically just going to have all 3 volumes plus all the side stories, promo work, and a few, I don't know, new pieces of art, never before seen sketches, and a lot. So yeah, because again, the story concludes with volume 3. So again, you're right. I mean, this has been my baby since the beginning. So again, I want to put it, and I know that the team is excited to do this in a format that we can be just like, okay, we did it, and the fans are going to be super, super happy with it. So again, thank you so much for praising the series. Appreciate it.
Oh yeah, man. I was so happy to. Like, again, it really did. I love that. I know solicits are necessary for the business, right? And I know that they help with pre-orders and the Previews World magazine, and I know how important all that is, but like, I can't stand solicits. Like, I feel like sometimes they say too much. You know, when I do my reviews, I usually copy and paste the solicit at the beginning of the review from Previews. And I've noticed sometimes like it'll like say everything that happens in first issue and then some. And I'm like, well, that hasn't even happened yet. Like, why is that in the solicit? So, you know, I like going into comics blind a lot and being surprised, or you hear like murmurings on the internet of like, everybody's picking up this book and it's crazy. Right. And then you read it, but you don't really know what it's about. And that's how I mean, Battle Cats, I knew like it was like cats with weapons and magic and like they right. But you know, the fact of it just being like, it's a great fantasy story. Like, it could work with people, right? It could still work, but that whole layer that you add to it by the animals and including like there's even like some dogs and like, you know, this whole deal of like the anthropomorphic animals. I mean, it works so well and it's so cool. And I'm so glad I read it, because yeah, that would have been anybody else who thinks like that, you got to check it out. If you dig fantasy, it's a great fantasy comic. If you like animals, it's a great comic. If you love cats, you got to get it. And you know, like, but yeah, it's interesting to like look at that. And then like Knights of the Golden Sun, also like you're writing different kinds of dialogue here too, right? To kind of like that kind of like loftier poetic dialogue that kind of ties into the fantasy world or divinity, right? Of like how these angels are talking to each other. They're not gonna talk like you and I necessarily, right? There's gonna be like an added layer to that dialogue, and I think you do that really well. But like fast forward to what we're here to talk about for real, which is Hunt Kill Repeat, or Hunt Kill Repeat, right? I screwed that up.
Hunt Kill Repeat, yes.
Okay, sweet. I get titles of books wrong. You would think I would learn by now to have like a sticky note somewhere that has like the title of the book.
No, but you got it perfect.
But I was so impressed with this. Talking about how like the new dialogue in the Battle Cats remake seems a little tighter. Like your writing has, and I enjoy your writing, but this new book, dude, you're coming at like a whole new level. The intensity, the violence, the pain, the regret, the fear, of all, also the critique of technology, because it's in there. It's very, we're so obsessed with technology, like we've pissed off the gods, and they've come down to earth and made fucking iPhones illegal, right? And it's just like I love that. I love that. It reminds me of like Mark Russell and Matt Kent do that as well in their narratives. They very much like put on a critique of humanity, like full on display. They use humor, to kind of like disguise that critique. Whereas like, and you are kind of using violence and action to mask the critique. But there is like a comment saying of like, we are, as humanity, we're a little bit too obsessed with ourselves, too obsessed with technology. And where's that going to leave us in the future? Right. It can take us into scary places. Do I think that the gods are going to come down and take over? No, and that's the fantastical nature of it. And that's the beauty of comic books, right? Because you can get that kind of crazy and you can make that happen. But it's so good. I love how it's like what the solicits like Kill Bill meets, the Greek pantheon.
Clash of the Titans.
And it very is that, especially because, basically, Artemis has shrugged off her family and is living with the human she fell in love with. And I won't spoil like what happens when she's pregnant, and it turns into one hell of a revenge narrative, which again, like those are hard to write because like writing a zombie or vampire book, right? Everybody's done that. So you got to try really hard to stick out against the competition. And you've done that here. You have turned the revenge genre, like you haven't just flipped it upside down. You like a cat swiped a bottle off the table and broke the glass and water spilt everywhere. And it's a crazy mess now, and it's going to take forever to clean it up. It's so good, man. And also the art and the colors, the lettering, lettering's great. I love how it changes between like human and divine. I think that's really smart. Balls, like when Zeus talks and stuff. I love how big of an asshole Zeus is. Like, God, you just like, I haven't hated a comic book character that much, right? And like enjoying that hatred, like, oh, that motherfucker, I can't wait to see what he does next, though. That's smart writing, man. And I'm so excited for people to get to read this in March. And I'm sure you are too. But I mean, I feel like this is going to be this feels like a big book. And I know you're doing a lot of press for it. It's getting covered very well. Like anybody who's online knows about this book. I feel like, I mean, I see a lot of press talking about it. And that's, what put it on my radar on top of like the emails and stuff you guys send out. But yeah, once, you hear people talk about it, but once you dive into this book, it's like, it's very unique. I don't see a lot of stuff on the shelves right now, that remind me of this. Every character, like I said, even the ones you hate, you love to hate them. Artemis, like I'm so like I am all about Artemis, man. Like I'm rooting for her. Like I love the cover where she's pregnant with the bow and arrow. The cover B. So I mean the interior art is phenomenal too. And this comic has this premiere issue has everything going for it, right? Everything you want, and you even get some extra pages. You get like what 43 pages or something. Yeah.
Yes.
Is every issue going to be longer, or did you guys just do that for the premiere?
No, we did that for the premiere. Again, we wanted to give the fans more bang for their buck. Like I know the first issue sometimes are tricky, especially we were talking about earlier about like Nottingham and people that missed Nottingham 1. We weren't like, okay, we stand by this series. We're gonna give more to the fans when they pick up their issue and be like, oh, okay, so this is what the story is gonna be. And I think that if you had a great time with issue 1, I think that issue 2, it's much better. It's pedal to the metal. I mean, there's no stopping with this series. So
yeah, the way it ends, the way the first issue ends, like I knew, I was like, man, Mark would have to try really hard to fuck up that second issue. And
sometimes you're your worst enemy.
Yeah, right. But I mean, I've read a handful of your stuff now, and I feel like, you know what to look for in comics to publish, right? And you know how to write, and you write well. And I think that's why your comics are pretty awesome, right? Is because you have that CEO mentality on top of the creator mentality, right? So like you're writing your story, and I don't think you would necessarily like get in the way of yourself, but I think like maybe when you're writing, like you get ideas and you're, like, yep, that'll sell. Like, oh, yep, like people will buy into this. That'll push a third issue, so, stuff like that. And, I think that's very important. That obviously like a lot of creatives don't have, right? Because there's a lot of, I mean, Robert Kirkman doesn't even write he writes like a couple, like he's got like firepower going, but like he's kind of chilled out, in his role of like, he's like, more of a corporate, he does a lot of corporate stuff now and like overwriting, but when he writes firepower, it's real good. And it's like, you guys know what people want to buy, what people want to collect, and what's going to keep the fans coming back to comic book shops looking for these titles. And I see that in all your stories, man. Like Wolvenheart. I read volume 1 of Wolvenheart, which was the first 7 issues. And like talking about like the revenge narrative, like now you're dealing with like, Dorian Gray and vampires and Dracula and werewolves and stuff. And one thing Wolvenheart does well is like, we've seen all these things separately, but I like when you bring them all together into the one crazy time jumping narrative, that chain. And then you also, like I just said, you throw like a time travel mechanic into it as well. And you would think like if you were pitching this comic to somebody, right? And pitches are hard to write. You like 2 sentences of who you are, maybe a paragraph to like sell your vision to a publisher and convince them to buy this and print and pick you up, and like how you could like fit all that into like 4 or 5 sentences. Like, all right, so there's these vampires and werewolves and this like society of people called Wolvenheart, and they like fight all these things. And then also Dorian Gray's there, and his picture is really important. Like we're going to come back to that picture a lot. And then and they jump through time, ladies and gentlemen. Like that's just like so much to like to pitch. And when you like talk about it, you're like, whoa, but like it really works. And it doesn't, like, it never felt muddied. It never felt too much, and I think the art totally helps too, because the art's just mad gorgeous. Action is so phenomenal. The characters are great. Dialogue's great. Again, like another one of like all these things that you were able to do in your comics to make them succeed. But yeah, that was another one where I was like, I thought it was I was like, it's about werewolves, and it's about a lot more than werewolves, right? And that was like, that was another one where like, as I'm getting more into it, I was like, holy shit, man. Like, I'm just like, it got me excited for comics. I'm very lucky. I get I get a lot of review copies. I get a lot of advanced reader copies.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have access to more comics a week than I have time to read from various publishers. And
For sure.
And I'm so lucky to be in that position, because so many people aren't, right. And I'm so privileged that like people enjoy my voice and opinion to like want to share that stuff with me. But again, like, because of that, I do notice like, oh, there's like, some of these spy comics read the same in certain ways sometimes, or, like, oh, there's like 8 different fantasy comics right now, and maybe it's hard to pick a few of them apart, and it's just like plot lines run together. Also, sometimes because of deadlines, some scenes feel forced. The progression doesn't always feel organic. You just like, you see that when you read a lot of comics, you notice like not all of them are great. Right. And, yours, like this was a breath of Wolvenheart was a breath of fresh air. Cause I think that there needs to be more werewolf stories, right? Like vampires and zombies have had their day. I know right now we've got some great zombie narratives in comics, like, with Philadelphia and Bloodstained Teeth, and there's Little Monsters from Lemire. Like there's a lot of great vampire narratives again. And so again, like if you're going to write about vampires, you got to like step up your game, which you did in Wolvenheart. Like it's so action oriented and interesting, and just like your pacing in all comics. Like I've noticed when I read your stuff, it's just like, especially on the tablet where you're just sliding your thumb, you don't actually have to like pick up the page, and you don't have to check and make sure 2 pages are stuck together every now and then. Like, when I'm reading your stuff, man, it's just like boom, 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 boom. I'm flying through these pages. I have to remind myself to like chill and appreciate the art. Right. Like I have to like make myself slow down, because I'm just like, gazing at the panels and like reading the dialogue and want to know what happens next. And then I have to be like, wait, like there's heads rolling around here. Like, what did I miss? Like people are getting stabbed. This blind chick's fucking murdering people and, like, with a spear. Like you have a gorgeous blind woman with a spear that is like deadlier than the queen of fucking vampires, which is amazing. Like I love it. It's amazing. But I just fly through your books. And
love it.
And it again, like you're so good at structure and characterization and pacing. I'm big on tension, right? And like tension propels you through the narrative. That keeps you burning and turning those pages. And you do that so organically, so naturally. It seems effortless. I'm sure it's not. I hope it's not. I hope you struggle at the keyboard. I really do. I hope it's not too easy for you. But you make it seem like so easy and wonderful, and like it's a joy to read. It really is. And I really hope, like, because there's still a whole lot of people that don't read a lot of indie comics, or if they do, they read like Image and Boom, right? And they stop there. Maybe IDW. Like there's a lot of people that are real picky in the indie comic world.
Yes.
And I really hope that people give Hunt Kill Repeat a shot and pick it up. It's a more expensive issue, but it's almost a double-sized issue. You get a big old honking premiere issue, like with plenty to read, and then you can even go back and I already want to go back and reread it. Like which I did. I read when I review or prep, like I read it like once, like I read it all the way through, and then I kind of let it sit, and then I kind of like. And then I peruse it, right? And I like before I write a review or before I do the interview, like I'll kind of go back through it and think of some scenes and stuff, and like and so yeah, like I already have kind of read it twice, but it's like what I really want to do is get the physical copy in March and like hold it and read it, because it's that good. But I hope that it. Like me, because this is exactly what happened to me. Is we planned this interview and I read that issue and it blew me away, and then I was like, I gotta see what else Mark's got in the canon, right? And so like I went back and I started checking out your stuff, and as I mentioned, like Mad Cave makes it so easy for press like me to do so with that hub. Like it's so convenient, so easy to get the PDFs of stuff. And anyways, like yeah, everything I've read from you has just been really mind blowing. And I like I like the different cultures and things that you bring in. There's the military, the one where the guy, it turns into kind of like a noir private detective, Midnight.
Midnight Task Force. Yeah.
Yes.
Midnight Task Force.
Like even like I've read a couple issues of that, and like that was really like, the military and turn, kind of turning that into the private detective futuristic noir. Very much getting like a kind of cool Blade Runner vibe from it, but it's absolutely nothing like Blade Runner other than like just it's a future cop show, right? A series, right? But like the way you change style from like that military culture to religious culture in Knights of the Golden Sun, to the honor
Honor and Curse, which is
Honor
a Japanese set piece.
Yeah. And the way you like you like bring in this like the Eastern cultures and martial arts and the artists. Oh my God, that book is absolutely beautiful too. And so just as you keep like all these, and then you like your Gothic story with Wolvenheart, like these are wildly different pieces and different culture, different time periods. They all still have your voice, right? So you can like tell it's you, even though you kind of hide it, because like you write the dialogue differently based on time periods and cultures and stuff, and you do all that really well. And like, is that hard? Is it like, do you do a lot of like do you do like historical research and stuff for some of these to kind of like orient you and get you in the zone?
All the time. I think that's part of the fascinating aspect of being a writer is the research part. When you really tap into something that you really enjoy and you're like, okay, let's go deeper and let's try to ground your story to something that might be familiar to the reader. So in case of what you're saying, Knights of the Golden Sun, okay, there's I like to call it the Bible book for people that don't like the Bible, because it's not supposed to actually hit you over the head. I mean, with the Bible or anything. Sure, there are like Christianity elements and all that stuff, but it's you ground it somehow and be like, okay, yeah, I was a Christian growing up. I was Catholic, whatever. I kind of like know these characters. What else is there? And then you start like peeling the layers, and then you go from there. In case of Wolvenheart, sure, a lot of history there with Buckingham Palace and the Queen and everything that you needed to set up with the Romanis and everything. Honor and Curse, don't even get me started there either. It was all Edo, Japan, and Koga and Iga clans, and trying to research a lot. And also the artist, Nicolas Salamanca, he went to town in researching the fabrics and how they dressed and in the kimonos, the way the architecture was supposed to be. So that's super fun. But also, I think that the key most of the time for us writers, and they're a blessing in disguise and they don't get a lot of credit, are editors. And thank you for praising all of my stuff, Blake. But really, guys that have been with me since the beginning, which are Gio and Chris Fernandez, that they edit. Those two are my editors for Battle Cats, Honor and Curse, Wolvenheart, Knights of the Golden Sun. I think that they were the ones that also kept me in check and trying to make me a better writer, and I thank them for it. So
nice.
So yeah, a lot of research, a lot of love pushing forward and pushing yourself.
So when people say like that cliche, write what you know, right? You're like, how about no? Like, I'm gonna write what I'm interested in, and if I don't know about it, I'm gonna learn about it. Like, I love that, and I always thought that write what you know deal was kind of bullshit anyway, because like there's so much research goes into writing, like just like if you're writing about a detective, or if you're writing about like a crime scene investigator, like I recently interviewed Terry Moore, and I was talking about his new Parker Girls book, and there's a scene and they're doing the autopsy and stuff of the body and like figuring out how they die, and they're talking about like dust from the lungs or something, and like how to tell if there's like water in the lungs and stuff. And I was like, how the fuck do you know that, Terry? Like, he's so nice, right? He's so nice, and he writes these like he writes these like organic relationships, whether they're like family or friendly or intimate, and then for like him to like switch gears into like how to tell the perfect murder, right? And I was just like, it's crazy. And he said the same thing, he's like, you talk to people, you do your research, and you talk to your editors or who's ever helping you, and you get it done. But yeah, everybody says that to people. Write what you know. And I mean, I guess that's a good place to start if you're ever like staring at that blinking cursor and just sweating and hating everything about yourself. Because I've been there too, right?
You've been there, exactly.
And but and so I guess like maybe sometimes that's a good place to start, right? But it seems sometimes I feel like that advice like hinders you, because it's like, don't reach for the stars, like just reach for the backyard, like don't go chasing your dreams too far, ladies and gentlemen. Like stay in the warm, comfy area, and so that I always thought that kind of advice was weird, which I heard that advice numerous times, but when I was in grad school, like that never really popped up from they were pretty good about like encouraging people to experiment, and try new things and try new formats. And so it was a cool experience, but it also burned me out on writing for a while. So it's, there's a lot of MFA discourse at the time when I was just like having fun and partying and writing and, like being a stupid little idiot, because I was working in a bar at the same time, and so like a lot of my classmates would like come up to the bar, and like we'd I wasn't supposed to, but I would we'd drink and do. It was a clusterfuck. Like it was a fun it was a fun time, man. But like I spent 7 years like working hard and like coming home at 8 o'clock in the morning and then getting up at like noon or 1 o'clock and taking a cold shower and trying to go to class. Like it was a crazy
I've been
time.
there. I've been there. Wow, don't recommend it, but yeah.
It definitely, like, every now that I'm like boring, like I talk about comic books all the time, and I'm writing again a little bit for like the Substack and things like that. Like I'm very much cool. Like I don't do I'm not bar hopping anymore. I'm not doing a lot of that stuff, and I do miss it sometimes. But then when you really think about it, and then I'm like, no, I don't miss that at all. Like,
no, yeah.
I like sleeping. I'm with you. Like, sleeping is great.
Yes, it is. It is.
But yeah, so that's what I was kind of going, like, when I was like learning to write, and my BA I have a creative writing BA too. So like that was like my goal, right? I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I was like, I'm gonna be the next great American novelist, and I'm gonna live this. I'm gonna be like David Duchovny on Californication. Everything's gonna be great. I'm gonna write Hollywood scripts.
Shit.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh wait, that only happens to a select few of people, right? And you got to kind of get lucky. And anyways, then I obviously, like, hopefully one day I want to get back into like I'm enjoying writing. I haven't gotten that fiction bug back yet, right? Like I haven't had the desire to write like a short story, or I've got some like comic script ideas that I'd like to experiment with and
get off your chest, and that you just need exactly the day that you feel that they're like burning just to get out, just like sit down and just put up.
Yeah, that's the day you get. That's the day you got to do it. You got to sit down and clack on those keys, man. And I do miss that, because I used to write short stories. I have a pretty cool sci-fi short story that I also tried to do a time travel mechanic, and as I quickly realized, when you write time travel, it's borderline impossible and is very messy. And like you think it works. You're like, oh, I figured it out. And then someone reads it and they're like, this doesn't make sense. If he did this and then they went back in time there, and then this wouldn't be there now. And you're like, fuck. Like,
yeah.
Like that's one where I kind of like, I think about doctoring that up, and I think it would make a cool, especially now with Ablaze's traveling to Mars. That idea of like, because it's basically like this guy's in space. You get the dilapidated Earth story, but it's basically this. I wrote it like he's basically Charles Bukowski in space, and he's got this artificial intelligence that runs the ship.
Yes,
and they're trying to. They find out that there's all these wormholes, and they're trying to like figure out how to navigate the wormhole to go back and unfuck the Earth, right? And they keep failing. over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And anyways, so it's this is I think it would be a cool like 4 or 5 issue mini maybe, or like even like a Kickstarter graphic novel maybe. But then it's again, the more I learn about this industry, right, and then you find out like what it really costs to like sit down with an artist and really talk page rates, and you're talking 5 issues at, like, if it's a good artist, like 300 or more a page maybe, or like even if they like you, like even if they believe in your vision, like maybe they'll throw you a bone, but you're still gonna like owe them a substantial amount of money. And so that there's a lot of things in this industry that both excite and intimidate me, and also like I'm also still growing Blake's Buzz. Like I have goals and aspirations of what I want this outlet to be, and I want to get, I want to go bigger and farther with this too. And I've heard a lot of times, like David Papose talked to me about this, and like a lot of times, like great comic press, like when you start getting into it and people start digging your stuff and digging your reviews and digging your content, it's like not long after that you transition into comic book creation. It's like a pretty normative transition. And then once you get into making comics, you're not really participating in that comics, in the discourse of like the creative discourse of it, like you used to be. And so Correct. Like, I don't, again, like I would love to publish a comic, but I also, like, I'm not going to lie. My name is on several comic books that have released through the direct market with a pull quote on it, and that feels really good too. That's like a really cool feeling. So anyways, sure. I'm still trying to like navigate all that and then life too, right? Like, and balance that out. But yeah, I love writing and I love comic books so much. And it was really great to read your stuff because you reminded me like why I love comic books. Like, not that I was like burnt out and I was like gonna throw away the laptop and be like, I'm done, like I'm just gonna read manga from now on, which I also love manga, but but like your comics really did, man. They got me excited. I did 3 live shows this week, and then tonight was our interview, and last night I was like, man, like I haven't done that in a while. And I was like, I'm like exhausted. Like I hit the sack and passed out. Like I was like like after the show. And then but today I woke up and I was like excited that, like, I kept reading some of your stuff. The more I read, the more excited I was to get to talk to you. And like I said, I just absolutely adore Mad Cave and everything you guys stand for and the products you put out. So like thank you for like filling me up with that, kind of revitalizing me with that, with it was like I was a vampire drinking virgin blood in a sense. Like I just felt rejuvenated and alive.
There's a bumper sticker there somewhere for Mac. You're gonna steal that. I love that. Oh, no, but thank you, Blake. I mean, it's refreshing. It's a fresh of breath there. I mean, just to hear you that you're liking our stuff that I wrote. Again, that's what we do it. I mean, that's really what we do it. I mean, we want folks to actually enjoy what Mad Cave is putting out. So hearing you speak like this, it's refreshing, and thank you.
Cool. I'm lying about everything. No, it's all for the metrics, baby. No, I'm kidding. I need those downloads. But okay, so excluding your own works, what is your favorite property at Mad Cave currently?
Very hard. Very hard.
You can't ask me this question, Blake.
No, yeah. You're kind of like asking me, like, okay, I have 3 kids. Which one do you love the most? I mean, yeah. Well, no, I mean, it's very hard for me, especially I really can't be objective because they all. Again, since I've been on both sides of the equation, like I sometimes understood how everything got made, and some books actually endured the process, and then they were, or you really didn't have much hopes at first, and then the end result ended blowing your mind because it was amazing, and again we've been through certain different times. that again, I've seen the progression, and I've seen also some of these writers grow, especially David from volume 1 to volume 3 of Nottingham, now with his new series from Mad Cave also, called Monomyth, and also Anthony Cleveland. Anthony Cleveland now has another series coming out. I can't talk about it right now, but he's going to have another series. And so, again, I don't have a favorite, Blake. I can't choose.
I like that. I like that's a good answer. I was like, he's either gonna like come out real quick with like I almost thought you'd say Nottingham, just because I feel like that's right now that's probably your moneymaker, right? Like that's your golden egg.
It helps pay the bills. Yes, it helps pay the bills. Yeah.
And now with the new anthology spinoff too, I think that's really cool. I'm gonna lie, I was gonna try because I was talking to David about it. So okay, so some people know this, but like I've interviewed David 3 times, right? Once was live with the whole Nottingham cast, and twice we've had like just 2 interviews, right? And both times we've talked for like almost 4 hours each time. Like just like yeah, the first time we like hit it off and we were joking, and then like after I stopped recording, it was like, you know, because that always happens, right? Like I stop recording and they're like, let me show you this cover, you know, and I'm like, oh, which sucks too, because I'm like, man, I could tweet that and get so much, you know, and then no one will ever fucking talk to me again, right? but you know, like that's how it started. Was like we ended the interview, and then you know, like quarantine was still dealing with quarantine a lot during our first interview a couple years ago, because in Australia they were like hitting it pretty hard, and you know, we were just kind of like just kept talking, and then all of a sudden I was like, it's been like 3, like we both like had to take breaks and get up and go to the bathroom and come back, like that's how long we were talking. And then the second time we talked, he kept telling me, like, he's like, Blake, I gotta go soon, man. And I'm like, all right. And he would keep, and then he would like tell me another story, and I was like, this ain't my fault, David. Like, and so like we actually like kind of like you know, hit it off, and I was talking to him about the because you could do a scene from Nottingham for the writing competition, and and I had an idea for the free comic book day issue, the mom, and I was like basically like it would be like a training montage sequence, and then and then at the end she leaves the mask at the grave site of father and son, and like walks away and says like, you won't see me coming. And the final panel is like a zoom in on the grave, so you see like by seeing the gravestones, you know who the character was finally. And so like I had this idea, and then all of a sudden, like I got busy, right? And like, you know, I got all these interviews, I got stuff going on, and like it totally like all of a sudden it was like, you guys announced the winner, and I was like, well, shit, I missed that. And I was just like, I totally like I missed the whole submission, I missed the judge. Like anyway,
well,
I was like, damn. But I mean, you guys do it every year, so I really do.
We do it every year. Exactly, Blake. I know that you're busy and growing your talent. You're doing a hell of a job. But again, we do it every year. So again, when you're up for it, submit. What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Well, I mean, like I used to send to journals and short stories to journals all the time, right? And like the rejection letter is like that never. It used to propel me to like do more, right? Like I'd be like, well, you say no, but like, and then I started getting like the positive rejection letters where you'd get like the form letter, but like the editor would like write a note on there and be like, I from the Missouri Review, I sent them some poetry, and they sent me a form letter, but the editor wrote in and he was like, Blake, this is strong poetry. It's just not for us right now. And so like I was starting to get somewhere, right? But then, like I said, like grad school kind of broke me. And then I quit writing for a while. And it wasn't until like I started writing reviews again and launched Blake's Buzz that I actually was like writing. And now like I'm trying to get over the hump of like, I would like to write more think pieces and listicles and stuff. And I really want to write about manga too, but because I'm like new to manga, I have this weird like lump in my throat that like almost like it's like it's preventing me from speaking about it. Like I feel like I'm not worthy, which is like it's bullshit. I know I know
Bullshit,
literature,
no.
I know storytelling. You know, I'm weird, man. I got weird stuff going on up here. And but yeah, so like I'm wanting to do more, and just with my platform, that's more than reviews, more than Kickstarter recommendations, and of course, like I love these interviews because I learned so much from these interviews, like talking to you guys about storytelling and pacing, and like reading all these different comics, and then kind of getting to talk to you guys about them. Like that's very much akin to what grad school was, especially when we like got in outside. Like I got to talk to like some New York Times bestselling authors. My thesis advisor had a good review in the New York Times for his last novel. And like, it's like, we're getting to talk and work with like real writers that are like in the field and doing stuff. But that's now I get to do this. Right. And I'm getting to talk to writers that are also in the field, performing, doing well, putting all these new books out, and I don't have to pay $100,000 for that. I just get to do this on my own. All I got to pay you is with my time. And I got, like, you guys have always been worth it. And comic books are worth it. And it's so, again, I'm very lucky. I'm so glad, like, in March, Blake's Buzz will be 2 years old. And, cool. And, a couple years ago, man, I never thought I could, read your comic like I did, read Hunt, Kill, Repeat, and then hit you up on Twitter and be like, hey, you want to talk about your comic? And not only have you agree, but have you be excited about it. Right. Like that's still like, I'm still not used to that, and it gets me excited too. And so I'm just, again, like so lucky and so glad that like I have this platform and I get to talk to you guys about it. And I know it helps you too, especially with the indie press, even with a marketing team and stuff, you're still having to push your own product.
Constantly.
Yeah. And you've been doing it. Like I said, I've been really impressed with how everywhere Hunt, Kill, Repeat is. Like it's all over my Twitter feed all the time. I feel like there's just been like, it's not even out yet. It's just like, it's coming. It's awesome. And then every week, like some new outlet every week is like, it's like, oh, this is cool. And I think last week you were on a bearded show. And I was getting like, we all kind of talking in a Discord, and I was getting everybody. I'm like, man, that fucker's always one step ahead of me, because you and I had just agreed to a time. Like I feel like it was like the day after we agreed, and then he posted the interview with you, and I was like, damn it. Okay, but no, we like he's really good people, and he's got a great outlet too, and they've all, like, what I like about it is they've helped me and they've given me advice before, and like it's not a competition thing, it's like a there's that new hashtag out right now for content creators called Grow Together, and it's like everybody subscribe to each other's channels, everybody leave a comment, watch a live stream. If you can't watch the whole thing, watch a few minutes of it, say hi, just the little things like that really help other content creators feel like they're being noticed. It's there's nothing more terrifying than doing a live stream and seeing that number at 0, right? No one's in the chat, no one's watching it, and you're just like, oh my god, luckily
doing that, you hear the crickets and you're like,
yeah, right,
okay,
yeah. But yeah, it's anyway, like I was watching your interview with him, and that was really good. But yeah, I was like he's always ahead of me. But he's been doing this longer than I have too. But yeah, he's good people, and you're great people too, Mark. Like, this was so fun to chat. Again, I cannot stress enough, ladies and gentlemen, that Hunt, Kill, Repeat is just everything that is wonderful about comic books. And that mixed with like hyper stylized violence and just like great art, beautiful characters. The gods look amazing. The gold, the gold armor and everything. The action sequences, the story, the revenge narrative. It's 12 out of 10 from the first panel to the last panel. Like I mean that with my whole heart, and I'm so excited for other people to get to read that. It's coming up soon. March 1st is going to be in shops. You guys got to get it. Mark, I've kept you for over an hour, man. I know you've got kids and companies and comics to run, and you're a busy man. And again, like, thank you so much. Real quick, like, where do we keep track of you? Where do we find you? Do you have like a Substack or a newsletter or anything we can subscribe to?
Basically, just go to madcavestudios.com, subscribe to the newsletter, and you guys will be in the know. And if you guys want to hit me up, I'll be at Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. That's basically where I hang. So madcavestudios.com, that's your best bet.
Nice. You guys got are you doing any conventions coming up to take the new comics out?
Yes, we do have a full year with Emerald City, and we have San Diego Comic Con, and we have New York Comic Con, and we have the ALA Book Fair, and we're thinking about going to MegaCon and C2E2. So yeah, it's this year, I mean, we have to visit every single convention that we possibly can. So yeah, it's going to be a busy year.
Very cool. Well, I'm really excited for you. I think this new con, I think you guys got a hit. Like, thank you. I love David and the Nottingham crew, but like, I think this is going to be your new moneymaker gold egg. I think like it's very, very good. And I hope it sells out. I hope you guys do multiple prints of it. I hope it does well. Do you got an end game in line yet? Like, do we know how many issues it's going to be, or are you still letting that float around?
We do have, I always like to think in 3 volumes. I think that's the sweet spot for the series, 5, 6 issues each volume. Right now, I think that I have a solid 3 volumes for Hunt Kill Repeat. We'll see what the fans think, because we can end it after 6. That would be too sad. I know that the whole team is excited to continue. It would just depend on how the book performs. But hopefully we can continue. Like, we have more story to tell. That's going to be awesome. The case.
Well, that's like I said, man. After one issue, I need it. I need it all, and then some. It's because it was so great. March 1st, ladies and gentlemen, you need to get that. You need to check out Mark's other stuff. Check out Mad Cave's other stuff. You know that through the website. Of course, you can pre-order stuff and order stuff through your local comic book store, which is great. But Mad Cave's website, they have like some really awesome bundles, exclusive covers, digital bundles, stuff you can get that like very competitively priced, and they ship well and they ship quickly, and that's definitely worth checking out their store. They always got some cool stuff going on in the store. I really recommend that. Mark, again, thank you so much. This was so awesome. I really do mean it, man. You are a very impressive storyteller and writer, and I wish you nothing but the best. And I really hope you have a great premiere, and if you do signings and stuff, I hope they fucking line up around the block for you, man, because you deserve it.
Thank you, Blake. And thank you for having me. And again, thank you for everything that you do for us. Shouting out not only Mad Cave, but also the indie creators. I know that you love comics. And again, very, very happy and humbled that you go out to bat for us. So thank you. Thank you for your support.
Oh, man, anytime. I'm always happy to do it. All right. So yeah, I will, I'll put this out probably the Sunday before Wednesday.
Okay. Do your thing. I know that you've been working like crazy. I don't want you to stress. I mean, hey, again, I'm thankful for the opportunity, and anything that you need from us. I mean, you know that I'm available. Just contact me through Twitter. And again, thank you for everything, Blake.
No problem, man. This was such a great chat. I'm really excited to put it out. But yeah, I'll let you get back to your evening. And seriously, man, all the best. Like I'm excited. I'm excited to see what you and the company are going to bring in this year. You know, I'm really stoked for David's new book too. It looks awesome. Which he told me about like a year ago, and I've just been waiting.
Is that, look, a lot of people, they don't realize, but that's how far in advance. I mean, that first issue
it's a slow moving industry. Yeah.
We started working on that first issue for Hunt Kill Repeat. We haven't finished issue 6. We're gonna start next week, but we started mid 2021, and look. Wow. So yeah, David, a year ago he started a Monomyth, and it takes a long freaking time to produce this book. So, but you're in the know, and you appreciate, and again, you're doing it right, Blake. I mean, again, thank you for having me. You're gonna have a tremendous success. And as soon as this drops, I'm just gonna promote the shit out of it. So you can count on that. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Mark, man. I'll see you online. We'll talk to you soon, bud.
Absolutely. Have a great night, Leif. Thank you.
You too.
Ciao.
Bye.